So, for those of you that are new here, I am Nancy from Nancy Inspired, and I have a gift that I call soul telepathy. I'm able to hear what your souls are trying to tell you. And when I do individual readings, it's very individual for the person. When it's a collective reading like this, it's what is the most important wisdom for everybody here at this moment in time, including me. And so I am channeling you. So before we begin, I like to do a little clearing. Hello, Hannah. Hello, Kay. I like to just do a little clearing and connecting. So I'm just going to ask for permission. Can I, may, and shall I do a reading from my Insight Timer friends and family, both those that are listening now and those that tune in later? Yes. Is there any reason why I shouldn't at this moment in time? Nope. Then we're just going to clear the space. So take a moment to close your eyes if it's safe to do so. And we're just going to clear out anything that doesn't belong here right now. So anything that is not serving our highest and best good in this group at the moment, we're just going to cleanse, clear, and balance our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our spirits on all levels for our highest and best good. Just clearing out whatever doesn't belong here at this moment in time. There you go. That was actually fairly quick today. Wow, you guys are all like ready. All right. And so then now I'm just asking that our intuition be raised to the highest level that we can accommodate with at this moment in time. And we're also going to put up a little barrier of intention so that only that which serves our highest and best good is allowed and welcome. All right. Yes, Melinda, the teachers are still on strike. It is absolutely insane. I don't know, in Canada, it's been, this is 2 weeks. It's terrifying. So donations are welcome because I don't have an income right now because we're on strike, but we're fighting for the rights of the students, and it's pretty crazy. We had a couple of rallies where like 40,000 people showed up. Parents, everything. So yeah, it's been a tough one. But yes, the good thing, Melinda, is that I have extra availability right now. So if people do want to reach out to me, I have a lot more time on my hands at the moment. All right, welcome Jamie and Hannah. Yes, big weekend for New Energy. And Jenny, hello. Wonderful. And Jay said in BC, the union representing BC government workers are on strike. 8 weeks. Oh my gosh, my heart goes out to the people that are fighting for those things and sacrificing in the meantime. Hello, Kate. Okay, so let's get started. What is the collective wisdom for this week? Oh, for those of you that are new here, I do, oh my goodness, thank you, Sharon. You're so sweet. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for the donation, my dear. I'm just whining because, I've never been in this position before. Welcome, Stacy. Welcome. I'm not normally this whiny about my situation. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. All right. For those of you that are new here, I do a collective reading for the group. And it's what's the most important wisdom for everybody at this moment in time. And then the second part is I do individual readings. And don't put your name in for an individual reading yet because it'll get lost in the chat and in the shuffle. I'll let you know when I'm ready, and then you can put your name in. And let's get going. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Carol. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Let's tap in and see what the most important message is. Oh, of course, I knew this was coming. All right. So we are supported, and interesting, because this one's going to make me all feel emotional. So what I was just getting is that we are supported. We are part of a collective consciousness. We are part of collective wisdom. We are here on this planet at this time to do what we need to do. And some of that might be individual stuff. Some of that might be group stuff. Some of that might be global stuff. Time for change, standing up, being a part of things and whatnot. And to recognize that we are not alone. We are in this together. And a lot of us here, and this is what I'm hearing, a lot of us here tend to be, including myself, the kind of people who are there to support other people, that are there to, jump in when someone needs a hand or they need time or make a donation or whatever. Like they're there to do that. And on the flip side, it's harder to receive, right? There's this feeling of not wanting to be a burden, not wanting to be, whatever. And so I'm hearing that this is a message. This is an important message for all of us, including me right now, because there's a part of me, if I'm really honest, I am so grateful for these donations that are pouring in, but I am feeling almost guilty. Like I'm feeling like, oh, I better make sure that I'm like super on top of things today. But no, I need to allow myself to receive, and so do all of you. That when it is your time, when you need to receive, to be open to receiving. And that might not just be money, it might be a smile, it might be a compliment, it might be some advice, right? But so often we're kind of taught, at least in my culture here, we're taught that you're best when you're independent and you can do it all by yourself and whatnot. And yeah, it's great to be independent, and yes, it's great to work hard so that you are autonomous and whatnot. But we also have to remember that we are in this together, and so on both sides, right? When you need, it's okay to receive. And when others need, it's okay to give. And it's that back and forth reciprocation of the needing and the give. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm going to get teary. Thank you so much for all these donations. You know what? This is, I'm getting all teary. This is actually a sign for me, because I woke up this morning feeling like, wow, this has gone on a long time. It's starting to feel a little stressful. Right? Because it's like, okay, I'm the sole breadwinner for my family. And it was like, okay, but then I started thinking about all the other people that are like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I have a home. I have a car to drive. I have a community. I have a village right here. I have a village. I have a village of friends and family. I'm okay. But I think about how many people in the world right now in various places are fighting and don't, right? So there's always perspective, but thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all so much. But back to the messaging is that there's a time to give and there's a time to receive. And you do have to be open to receiving. You're not a bad person if you receive. You're not a bad person, or you're not weak if you ask for help. I'm hearing that there are some people here right now in particular that are having physical challenges, that are having some health issues and having physical challenges, and they don't want to be a burden to somebody. And I'm hearing that loudly. There's somebody here, there's actually a few people here, but one in particular is really struggling with that, doesn't want to be a burden because they have health challenges. Well, what I'm supposed to hear and what I'm supposed to remind you, what I'm hearing, and it's not just for you, this is for everybody, is how good you feel when you know that you've made a difference for someone, when you have done something for somebody, when you have made a difference and you know that they appreciate you, how good you feel, right? And so if you are struggling and you need help and you allow someone to help you, you are then allowing them to have that good feeling of helping you. And so, yeah, I'm hearing it loudly that there's a few of you here that are struggling with some health issues and asking for help. You're not a burden. You're not selfish. And if anything, you are allowing others to feel good for helping you, because you're somebody that will jump up and help someone else at the drop of a hat, right? And so there is a time for giving and for receiving. Okay, this is interesting. I'm also hearing that being in a position of receiving, hold on, let me just get the words right. Being in the vibration of receiving is the words I'm hearing. Being in the vibration of receiving actually elevates your connection to everyone else. Okay, I understand. So what I'm getting images of are like, when you look at, monks or whatever that are begging or receiving, that by doing that, they put themselves in a place. I don't know anything about monkhood. This is just what I'm hearing. That they put themselves in a place where they are relating, they are connecting to the greater community and one another. And so when you put yourself into a vibration of receiving, it elevates you to be connecting to that global consciousness, but also allows you to be in a bigger position of receiving, which is so interesting and so kind of against what my Nancy brain is saying. My Nancy brain is like, nope, you need to be independent, you need to not ask for help, blah blah blah. That's my Nancy brain. But what I'm hearing is that when we allow ourselves to be in that position of receiving, we're actually opening up to the greater gifts of receiving, the bigger elements of receiving from spirit, from energy, from those types of things. So if you are in a position where you are feeling reluctant to ask for help, I'm hearing to tell you that by putting yourself in a vibration of receiving, you are actually connecting to that greater consciousness, that greater sense of receiving. And if you are in the position to give, if you are, whether it's, time or space or energy or whatever, when you give, that also connects you to that big reciprocal wheel of giving and receiving. And we give in so many different ways, is what I'm hearing. There's so many different ways to give. It doesn't necessarily have to look one way or the other. Oh, okay. I'm also hearing that there isn't a hierarchy of giving and receiving, that, giving a smile as you pass by someone on the street is, just as valuable perhaps at a certain moment as making a donation to the food bank, or making, that giving doesn't have to be on a hierarchy, but giving and receiving in an equal, well, not equal, sorry, that was my own word. What I'm getting is a wheel, and that sometimes you're in a position of giving and sometimes you're in a position of receiving, and allowing yourself to be a part of this wheel of giving and receiving, and not undervaluing what you can give. If what you give is a smile and a kind word in the ear, that might be the most essential thing that somebody needs at that moment in time, right? And so recognizing that it is a wheel of giving and receiving. All right, I gotta check out the chat here because I'm seeing it move, and I want to hear what's going on. Where did I leave off here? Aw, so much support. You guys are amazing. You really are. You're so amazing, and I absolutely love. And this is my time to give for you. Oh goodness! And I'm hearing about all kinds of injuries. Wow. Broken shoulder, Hannah. Oh no, broken foot, Jay. Sending you guys some love. Oh my goodness. Sending you tons of healing and recovery. Having a hard time asking for help. Yes, that's what I'm hearing all about. I'm glad I'm hearing this. Okay, you need a lot of help. Yes, but receiving the help has brought my tribe together. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I just got shivers, Hannah. Absolutely. And I think that's what's so important. I'm assuming happy Diwali. Absolutely. Beautiful message. It is. For me, giving and receiving is the infinity sign, a continuous loop. That's exactly what I was seeing. It's just a constant going, right? Oh, awesome. Yes. Happy Diwali to those who celebrate. Wonderful. You guys are just such a beautiful community. It's interesting because that's something that's been really beautiful about this. Everyone's kind of in their own place of this little struggle with this strike that's going on. But the solidarity that people are coming together and like, hey, let's do a yoga class. Let's do a dance class. And people are volunteering their time to bring people together. And here, I'm going to offer a salsa class. So I'm going to offer a whatever. I've been just asked to teach a belly dance class. It's been a million years since I've taught belly dance. But I said, sure, I'll give it a try. It's been, 15 years since I've taught belly dance. No, maybe 12. But why not? But it's that, again, that giving and receiving and that collaboration. All right, what's our next bit of messaging today? Okay. As soon as I said collaboration, that's what I right away heard. Is together we are strong, okay? Everyone is strong in their own individual way, but together we are strong. when I'm teaching, I often at the beginning of the year I let everybody have a stick, and I'm like, okay, break your stick and see how easy it is to break the stick, or spaghetti or whatever. There's you can use it in a bunch of different ways. And then when you gather everybody's sticks together, or gather everybody's spaghetti together, and you try and break it, you can't, because when they're all together, they're a lot stronger, and it's that representation of we are strong. So there are a lot of things going on, not just in my world, obviously, but all everywhere. There is so much going on in terms of lower vibrational influence that is attacking us as a planet. There is this lower vibrational influence, and together we are strong. Together we rise. When we come together, even right now, there's 42 of us here. 64 have come and gone. 42 are here right now. Right now, we are together, and we are strong when we are together. When we gather, we are together. We are strong. And it's important that we value what happens when we work together as a group. When we share our voices and say, so, okay, what I'm hearing, okay, interesting. At one point, me coming on and doing a live where I'm like telling you that I can hear what your soul's trying to tell you, people would have thought I was crazy. They would have locked me up. I would have been burnt at the stake. I was a witch. Like, you name it, right? That's what would have happened. However, because over time, people are coming out and voices are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, we are allowed to be who we are now more and more. In some cases, it's harder than others. But the more voices make the being of love, sorry, I'm just hearing. So the more voices that are unified in the being of love, I think what that means in terms of in the being of love, let me just make sure I'm getting that right. Oh, okay. It's that idea of one body, one body. If we act as one body in a place of love, then we create change. Then we create a better place. And when you think back, like even yoga, let's say. I remember when yoga was first a thing, kind of being. I went to a little yoga class that was in somebody's basement because there wasn't yoga around. And, and now yoga is everywhere. Yoga is a practice that helps to heal. Whether you like doing yoga or not, it's a common practice that people know about. Whereas before it was like, like I said, something that somebody did in somebody's basement. Reiki was another one. I remember, I think I was 20 when I first heard about Reiki, and I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, you can heal people by like just energy? Now it's a common practice. People know about it, right? So what I'm hearing, this is where it gets specific. What I'm hearing is that there's a bunch of us here that are connected to these spiritual sides of ourselves, to the wisdom. And we have different gifts that we can use, but there's a part of us that are afraid to share them because we don't want people to think we're weird. We don't want people to discredit us. We want to maintain a certain level and reputation. And I'm hearing that by normalizing these kinds of things, normalizing these kinds of spiritual practices, normalizing meditation, normalizing connecting to the greater good, normalizing the idea of elevating human vibration, normalizing even this language, these ideas, just by sharing your own sense of being, is going to elevate everything. And that there is solidarity in numbers. That if we, if everybody was afraid to say, hey, women should have the right to vote, in, I'm going to say North America at this point, during the suffrage movement, if nobody was willing to stand up and do that, we wouldn't have what we have right now, right? And so it's important that our voices are used for a position of love, for our position of expansion and higher vibrational thinking, and recognizing that we together we create an energy, a vibration. So okay, so what I'm what I'm getting is if you take like a glass of water and you put like a couple drops of food coloring in it, they kind of swirls around, and eventually the whole glass permeates to that color. Even if you don't stir it, it'll just eventually kind of diffuse throughout the glass and become that color. And so the more that we stand up and create, a solidarity of love, we will elevate that vibration. And even like through kind of an osmosis process, we will then elevate that human consciousness. And that's our job. And we're on this planet to elevate our consciousness and human consciousness. That's why we're here with our very different gifts, situations, trials, tribulations, celebrations. That's our job, is to elevate human consciousness in whatever way we can. But I am hearing that now, I was going to say more than ever, but then that's not the words I'm hearing. Now, as well as every other time in history, it's important that we are standing together in positions of love. That whole love thy neighbor, right? And even if we don't understand or we don't walk in their shoes, and I know nothing about, okay, I know very little about Diwali, and so I know it's a celebration, and I know it has to do with light and recognizing light and the light that's within us and outside of us and whatnot. Maybe Masumi, you could give us a little brief, description. But just because I don't know much about Diwali doesn't mean I can't have the utmost respect and joy and love for everyone that is celebrating Diwali right now, right? And so it's about recognizing that even though we don't necessarily walk in their shoes, right? We can celebrate when it's coming from a place of love, when it's coming from that place of joy and love and bliss and higher vibrational thinking. We can get on board, get behind it. And I'm just looking at all the chats here. I guess I got talking and I haven't been paying attention. All right. Receiving is, I think that's where I left it here. Okay, there we go. Energy grows exponentially when communities join forces. Yes, they absolutely do. And then lots of healing. Always love your messages, Nancy. The importance of that give and receive keeps the wheel moving. Absolutely it does. And thank you, everybody, for the hearts and just for being here. Honestly, this is my favorite day of the week, is to come on here and connect with all of you. Talking about the affinity sign. Absolutely. There's a thing called the Maharishi effect. I hope I said that right. And it's to do with when people meditate in groups, it increases the potency of the energy positively. Beautiful. And I think that's what happens here. I remember the very first time doing a live on Insight Timer, I actually cried afterwards. It was so overwhelmingly beautiful to feel all of the energy of the people here and tapping into this beautiful collective, that it was so emotional afterwards. Now I'm used to it and now I just love it. But the first time I was moved, like I was emotional because it was so beautiful. And so yes, when we do things collectively, we raise the vibration. Well, even I think of the rallies, like we've had rallies here of 30,000 people, and I don't like crowds. I hate being in crowds. In fact, one of the signs I loved said, "It's so important even the introverts are here." So, and I laughed about that because I don't like being in crowds. But it was such a feeling of beautiful solidarity. Like it was just like we are all in this together, and it was beautiful. Voices used for love and elevate vibration. Absolutely. We stand together in love. Yes. Gives me a new visual of being a drop in the ocean. At the water, yes, absolutely. Because we are. And our vibration elevates, and then everyone else's elevates as well. Alicia beautifully said, recognizing the night within us. There was 7 million strong in the U.S. for No King's Day. Yes, Molly. And actually around the world. I heard about No King's Day rallies all over, like in Europe, all over the world. And it just shows, that we are in this together. We are trying to make things better recognizing the light within us. That's what Diwali is about. That's fabulous. It's like the light in me recognizes and helps grow the light in you. And I think that's beautiful. Beautifully said, Nancy. We are the tuning forks. The higher our frequency, those around us have no choice but to match. Absolutely. And when we get together, it's even better. Right. Carolina, giving and receiving is togetherness, collectively connecting and integrating with each other and with divine. Opposite of purely individualistic. Yes, makes sense that it raises our vibes. Interesting message to be receiving a message to continue following the messages. You know, it's interesting because that individualistic, sometimes when I think about receiving, I do feel individualistic. But you know what? The more I receive, the more I can give, right? And so it is that wheel of giving and receiving. You know, if I am just absolutely in my own little world trying to like make things right, then I can't give. Whereas as I receive, I'm able to give more. And then it is a wheel, but it is interesting because I do get caught in that individualistic thinking sometimes. Alicia, it makes me think of an orchestra where we all play our own individual instruments to create one collective piece of music. Absolutely. And I'm going to add to that, Alicia, in terms of that orchestra conductor, because if you have everybody playing a different instrument at a different time, that's going to sound a lot like noise. That conductor is love. You know, when you are playing from that place of love, it does create a beautiful piece of music, you know, when we are all tuned into that love. Absolutely. Hannah says, I'm in Australia and I spent most of yesterday watching the No Kings demonstration online. I'm proud of all 7 million people for their peaceful solidarity. Isn't that beautiful? That 7 million people could come together and it's completely peaceful, not a single issue, you know, much smaller, but even the rallies that I've been to here in terms of the teacher strike, you know, it's 51,000 teachers that are on strike, the entire province. And in one city, they had 35,000 people show up to a rally. And then there were similar rallies all over the place. And again, completely peaceful. In fact, there's music playing, there's people singing, you know, and it's beautiful. It is time. We do need to raise our voices and share, you know, that giving and receiving. Okay, I just heard to tell you a story. Well, it's interesting because I'm just kind of getting hit with it here. So when this whole strike started, it felt really weird and sad to say goodbye to the kids that day. And they're like, when do we get to come back? And it's like, hopefully soon, my sweet, like hopefully soon. And they're all giving us hugs and we're going to miss you. And, you know, it felt like we were kind of going into a battle. Now, I'm saying that loosely because I'm not actually fighting. My life is not in danger. I'm not in danger of being prosecuted. I'm not starving. So am I going into a fight? Yes, fighting with the government, but I am safe. You know, I am safe. There are a lot of people that are going into battles that are not safe. So then I started thinking about the suffrage movement. I mentioned it earlier, where women fought to get the vote. And they risked their lives, being jailed, being beat. Like they risked all these things in order to make that happen. So what happened is I started feeling solidarity with, and again, I'm safe. I'm not comparing my fight to, you know, people that are literally fighting for their lives. I'm not at all comparing it. It was just sort of a situation where I thought, you know, when people stand up to make a difference, we actually make a difference, right? And right now, there are so many things that people's voices need to be heard, you know, so that we can make a difference. And I guess it's about empowering ourselves. It's about empowering ourselves to know that you can make a difference. No matter how small, you can make a difference. So I'm being told ants. What about ants? Okay, I'm hearing ants on a number of levels. Number one, they're very small, but they make a giant difference. If you've ever had to deal with ant hills in your yard or in whatever, you know, ants are everywhere and they're mighty, right? They're tiny little things and they're mighty and they're everywhere. And they also work together in phenomenal ways, you know, where they create like an ant bridge where, you know, they can create a bridge of ant bodies for other ants to go across. And so we are like ants, you know, And it is time for us to rise and help live in love and help celebrate in love. And even if your lifestyle, views, culture, whatever is different than someone else's, we can all come together in love. And I think that is huge. Okay, what I'm just hearing right now. Interesting. Okay. Love. Okay, I am not a physicist, but this is what I'm hearing. That there is a vibrational energy to love, that love actually has a particular vibrational energy, and that is the same vibrational energy that is in our actual like molecule, atoms, molecules, the protons, electrons, neutrons. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. This is what I'm hearing. So if someone knows anything more about this, please feel free to chime in. But I'm hearing that when it's broken down to its absolute smallest particle of energy, that part I understand, that smallest particle has the same resonance as love. And that when we are resonating within a loving environment, when we are resonating with love, we are actually connecting to that bigger picture and divine consciousness. That it is literally, yeah, I was just going to say, that was the exact words I was about to say, that love is literally coded in our DNA. If anyone is a physicist or can add some of that, some, theoretical knowledge to that, I would love to hear it. But I'm hearing that when you break down our existence, our being on a molecular level, that the stuff of that energy that is moving, electrons, proton, whatever it is actually the same vibrational energy as love. And so we are actually made of love. And when we live in that, when we live in that or encounter that or connect to that bigger piece, that love vibration, we are actually elevated. So what I'm getting is it's like a tuning fork. When you hit a tuning fork and it vibrates out, when we are resonating or living in that place of love, we are actually like tuning forks that are resonating out these things, and that is our primary function and our job. And so when we get together, back to the orchestra reference, our music, our resonance, our love then vibrates out and creates, a whole orchestra, a whole symphony of that living in love and recognizing that it's our time. It's our time now to, kind of share our loving voice, and don't be afraid of people thinking you're weird. It's funny. I'm here to tell you a story because I'm an administrator of a school. Well, I'm on strike right now, but I am an administrator of a school, and I'm very good at my job. And one of the reasons why I'm very good at my job is because I'm really good with dealing with angry parents, challenging parents, and I'm really good at dealing with kids that are dysregulated or having a hard time. And I've always been really good at that, to the point that I'm often given, the most challenging parents and the challenging kids. Oh, Nancy can handle it, but I never realized before, because I kind of kept my gift hidden. I didn't want people to think I was weird. I had enough experiences as a young kid doing and saying things that people are like, how do you know that? That's weird, that I learned quickly to not say anything. Well, later on, it wasn't probably about 10 years ago now, that I started to realize the reason why I'm so good at my job is because of my intuition, because I can hear what's really going on. So even though the parent's upset because their child is sharing markers with other kids, what they're really upset about is scarcity, or what they're really upset about is their child getting sick or whatever. Like, there's different things. And so I learned to use my gifts. So now when people ask me about my soul telepathy, I tell them. And sometimes I get kind of like side-eye weird looks, like, oh yeah, that's weird. But most people are like, oh, tell me more, And so I'm hearing loudly for a number of you, don't be afraid to share your more esoteric practices. Don't be afraid to share the practices that help you elevate and connect to that vibration of love. Don't be afraid to share those practices. If you do something that helps you to connect to that love vibration, whether it's, singing in the shower, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever you do that helps you connect to that elevated love vibration, share that. Because somebody is going to connect with it and go, okay, I don't get this because that sounds like woo-woo, but I do get that. I could do that. And whatever you're doing to help you elevate yourself to that vibration, share it. And don't be concerned of being afraid to share, because I'm hearing that loudly, that a lot of you guys are afraid to share, including me. There was a time, not anymore, but there was a time that I was afraid to share. And so don't be afraid to share. Whatever it is that elevates you to a vibration of love is what somebody else needs to elevate them to a vibration of love. And the more that we can elevate to vibrations of love, the better this world is going to be. And right now there's a pretty serious fight on our hands in terms of loving vibration and selfishness, or loving vibration, or I'm just going to say lower vibration, because everything has a place sometimes, right? All right, I'm going to look at the chat and just see what I'm missing. All right, Australia, I got maybe it's individualistic to refuse to receive. Ooh, I like that, Jenny. Absolutely. Because you know what? Like I said, I was saying to somebody, I can't remember, somebody who was dealing with injuries, and I was hearing that we get a rise. Our love vibration gets elevated when we're helping somebody else. So by allowing someone to help us, we then let them have that elevated love vibration. So it's actually a form of reciprocation when we allow somebody to help us. I like that. Love the orchestra analogy. Awesome. I'm guilty of being afraid to share. Hannah, don't be afraid to share. This is your sign, your message from your guides, your spirit is telling you, don't be afraid to share. Absolutely. Alicia, of course, we're all created as one divine piece of consciousness of the universe, all interweaved and connected by the divine universal source of love. I love it. Alicia, are you a writer? You should be a writer. If you're not a writer, you should be a writer. You have a lot of wisdom. All right, let me just check. Anything else that we need to share today? Nope. All right. So